We have a major Knicks trade update as the team appears to be interested in a veteran center that they can acquire, and also Jalen Brunson has made a wild prediction on the 2025 Knicks season, and we are going to break it all down. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here. For some reason, my face looks really red, but we're going to power through that because the New York Knicks are interested in veteran center Robert Williams, someone who appears to be on the trade block for the Portland Trail Blazers, who have around 25 centers on their roster. Shout out to Reith. And right now, Williams seems to be the one who they find to be the most expendable, and the New York Knicks reportedly do have interest in bringing Williams to the team. If you hear the siren, that is the New York Knicks centers right now, considering Mitchell Robinson is often dealing with injuries, and then it's kind of a panic after that because there's no other proven option at the center position. Well, Robert Williams has been to the playoffs a multitude of times with the Boston Celtics. He had been a very solid player for them before getting traded as part of that whole Drew Holiday deal, bringing Holiday to the Celtics, which obviously helped them win a ring. Good move by Boston. Robert Williams goes to Portland, is basically injured for the full season, but when he did come back, did put up some decent numbers. So let's take a look at all that. Because, as Brian Windhorst mentioned, a guy to watch who's very tradable is the Time Lord, Robert Williams, one of the great nicknames in all of the NBA. Williams is coming back off an injury. He's a guy who has repeated injury problems, but he makes $13 million, and the Trailblazers appear to be willing to part with him. And he could go to a contender and be a significant piece if healthy. Well, guys, what is the NBA Finals contender that needs a big man the most? Obviously, it's the Knicks. The Knicks, their big thing is they don't really have any holes in their team, especially when Mitchell Robinson is healthy. The team's just good. It's a complete basketball team. You have two of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA. You have a guy who, if he could play over 65 games in Mitchell Robinson, would most likely make an all-defensive team. One of the most efficient defensive centers in the league. Teams don't even challenge him at the rim because they know Mitch is going to block shots, which has been the reason for the decrease in shots blocked per game, but he also gets 1.5 steals per game. Robinson has become one of the most complete defensive centers in basketball, and when he's on the court, he's a difference maker. He gave Joel Embiid the business. The Knicks were down, 12 against the 76ers in Game 1. Mitchell Robinson came in and shut Embiid down. When you look at how good Robinson is, you get really excited to see how he will anchor a team that has elite defense like Bridges and like Anunoby. But we all know that Mitch has dealt with injury problems in the past. He's still battling back from his second foot stress fracture in a calendar year. Not even. That happened in December, and it happened December 9th. The news came out. Today is September 9th. So exactly 9 months, 2 foot stress fractures. Clearly harm to the Knicks not having him there. So the Knicks are going to have to get a backup for him. Now, obviously, bringing in Robert Williams is worrisome, considering he, too, has his injury issues. I still think the Knicks should just go for Nick Richards. I think it's an easy trade to make. I think you could give Precious and a second-rounder and then deal done. You got Nick Richards. Your problems are solved. I think Richards has another ceiling to hit in the sense that Robert Williams, underrated playmaker, and I think the Knicks could help get more of that out of him. But he's similar to Mitch. I mean, not a problem. It's just the injury concern, and also he's a little undersized, being only around 6'8", 6'9". But the Knicks do have interest in him. Now, as Windhorst mentioned, he would say Robert Williams from Portland. Any team looking for a center is going to be watching Williams closely this year, and he thinks the Knicks will be among those teams monitoring him during the season. So as the season goes along, how that center position goes is going to be a big topic from week to week. Specifically talking about the Trailblazers, Robert Williams put up 6.8 points, 6.3 rebounds, 1.2 blocks and steals per game, and shot 65% from the field. Gets a lot of offensive rebounds, which leads to a lot of his twos not being assisted for a big man. 6'9", still young at 26, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does have room to grow. Despite the fact that the Trailblazers weren't very good, had a very positive defensive box plus minus, also a .1 value over replacement player, which is kind of impressive when he missed most of the season. Robert Williams goes into games and you could feel the man's impact. So I think he'd be helpful for the Knicks. And when you look at Portland, they have a million centers. They have Donovan Clingan, who they just drafted 8th overall for no reason. They have DeAndre Ayton, who the jury is still out on if he's really good or really not. And Then also do up Reith and all that. They have a million centers on that roster. They don't need Robert Williams. They know they don't need Robert Williams. They know it's a tradable contract, and they're going to work to trade it. Now, it would be a little difficult for the Knicks to make that trade, considering they'd have to cut out $12 million, and Precious Achiuwa makes $6 million, so you're also going to have to throw someone else in there that's a bit of cap space, like maybe Keita Bates-Diop. Gives the Knicks another roster spot open if they want to bring in someone else. It would be confusing for the Knicks to do, but the Knicks have Brock Aller, one of the best salary cap specialists in the league. And if there's one thing that you know the Knicks need, it's definitely the court, or I almost said the court spacing. It's definitely the center position. Now, for some reason, they listed Pacome Dadier as a center. That's not true. He's a forward, and also Josh Hart's a forward, and Mikal Bridges is playing more of a two-guard here. But whatever. It's fine. Now, the Knicks center position is Mitchell Robinson, Precious Achiuwa, and Jericho Sims. After that, you're kind of going with OG Anunoby as the center because the way he can guard big men, and also it's just he can space the floor. He's a big enough 6'8", where in a pinch he can get the job done. And then also Julius Randle. Julius would really be guarding centers at some point if Julius and OG are out there as the two big men, because it kind of just depends on who's better at offense, and OG's going to guard that one, and Julius is going to guard the one who's worse, and Julius is going to do more on offense regardless of who's guarding him. Now, it's a good roster. It's a championship contender. It's just the fact is the center position's a bit of a question mark once you get behind Mitch. Is Precious a true center? Will Jericho Sims be able to hit that breakout? It's stuff that you wonder, and you think, okay, the Knicks might need to do something about this. But also, we're going to have to figure out who that guy is first. And that's important, especially when you look at Jalen Brunson and his bold NBA Finals 2025 prediction. Now, I think we all know who is winning the NBA Finals in this, considering this is Knicks Digest and it's the Knicks' best player talking about it. Obviously, it's the Knicks. Jalen Brunson has predicted the Knicks will go to the NBA Finals and play the Phoenix Suns, something we saw at the Roommates Show live event. I don't know why I'm saying we. I wasn't there, but if they made the tickets a little bit cheaper, but also Brunson took that massive salary cut. So do whatever you want, JB. I'm proud of you. But Jalen Brunson did predict that. I mean, he was with Oz the Mentalist, who was there, and he predicted the Knicks would beat the Phoenix Suns in the 2025 NBA Finals, and Oz the Mentalist was able to help get that prediction out there. And Brunson spoke on the Knicks last season and basically said, we were making positive strides, we just need to make more, and then said, did we win a championship when asked if last season was successful, followed up by, did we get close? No, that's my mindset. That's just how it is. Clearly, Jalen Brunson is hungry to win an NBA championship. That's not very surprising at all. And when you look at where Brunson's at, it's not that he's mad about where the Knicks are. He's just upset they didn't win a championship. Now, as he mentioned, he believes the Knicks built a foundation, a franchise that's going to be fighting, a franchise that's moving in the right direction, and it's tough to end the way that the season ended, but he knows they're going in the right direction. The Knicks have made the playoffs 2 years in a row now. They've made it 3 in the last 4 years, which is so beautiful to see. But on a serious note, they've done well. They're no longer a team that's new to the playoffs. When the Knicks lost in the second round of the playoffs against the Miami Heat, I had a lot of my friends who were just kind of like, oh, this is such a bummer. This is such a letdown. What are we going to do? And my thought process was like, no team goes to the playoffs and instantly ends up in the NBA Finals. That doesn't happen. I guess the Mavs kind of did it last season, but they were in the playoffs most years. They just missed it the one year because everyone was upset about the Knicks getting Jalen Brunson, and they focused more on that than their own actual season for some reason. And then the Mavs turned around and made the NBA Finals. So with all the playoffs they'd made prior, I don't really count that. The Knicks were a new team. When they lost to the Pacers, it's like, all right, they would have been in the conference finals had they been healthy. An argument you could have made about 2022 also. So you think about it now, the Knicks are staples in the playoffs now. Now's the time when you're like, all right, now we're expecting bigger things. We're expecting conference finals. We're expecting the NBA Finals. These are what we expect now. The needle has been moved. I was looking for the phrase. I got it. I found it. I pulled the needle out of the haystack, if you will. But the needle's been moved. So, essentially, I really feel like now is the time where the Knicks do have to push for making the NBA Finals, not just because they traded for Mikal Bridges, but also because they extended Jalen Brunson. And you know how bad Jalen Brunson wants to win, because only a psycho takes that pay cut that Jalen Brunson took. You have to be an absolute lunatic to not take that money. And why did Brunson not do it? So the Knicks could keep cap flexibility so they could try to win a championship. Brunson isn't just saying all these things to the media. That dude means it. He genuinely means it when he's like, no, I want to win a championship. I've got enough money. I don't care about that. I care about winning. Brunson's nuts for doing that. I think he's absolutely insane, and we all love him for it and all the other great things that Jalen Brunson does on a day-to-day basis. Congrats on being a dad, by the way. That's super cool. But really, when you look at Brunson, you're like, you're a guy. You take us here. You could do it. And the last time that Jalen Brunson played the Suns, or one of the last times he played the Suns, 9 for 9 on 3 with 50 points, 17 for 23 on shooting. One of the first times that people really saw, oh, Jalen Brunson's not just some all-star player. This guy's a superstar. Also got 9 assists and 6 rebounds in that game. Jalen Brunson's one of the best players in the NBA. Can he be the best player on a championship team? The jury's still out, but he's right in that upper echelon. I know I'm biased. I'm not even going to pretend like I'm not, but I genuinely think he's better than Jason Tatum. I really do, from the bottom of my heart, believe that Tatum's overrated. I just think the Celtics are disgusting as a team. They're just really good, and they deserved to win the finals for being very good. But if Brunson is better than the guy who is the best player on the team that just won the NBA Finals, it does give me hope that he can be the best player on a championship team. It's just he has to go prove it. And it's tough when you're a small guard, but when you now have a team that is so deep, that is so big outside of Brunson, with Mikal at the 2 and OG at the 3 and Julius and Mitch, it makes up for the lack of it. The Knicks don't really have holes in their game outside of that center position, so hopefully they figure that out, whether it's Robert Williams, whether it's Nick Richards, Walker Kessler, Jalen Duran, any of the 500 other names that I've probably talked about over the last 3 months since Hartenstein left. I'm just excited to see it. Guys, let me know what you think down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. This was a long one. Hopefully you tuned in for all of it. If you're still here, have a great day, and go now.